Betfair Trader, are you confused, absolutely confused about what on earth to do when you've got your data? You've been tracking your strategy for a while, you've put it all into Excel, you've done the hard work. Now you have no idea what to do with that data. Well, strap yourselves in, watch this video all the way to the end, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can use Chat GPT, Chat GPT to actually assess your trades. My name is Ryan Carruthers. If you don't know me, I'm from the Betfair trading community, and we have an absolutely kick-ass stats software that allows you to backtest your strategies and get all the stats that you need. Adam spent 335,000 minutes building this software, the horse racing backtesting. Okay, we're rebooting the football one. It's a similar time frame that he spent on that, also that you can backtest your strategies in less than 30 minutes. Okay, so let's set the scene with what happened. I'm going to talk you through this now. We're in my computer and I'm going to share exactly what happened. So one of the members at BTC sent me a message and said, Ryan, would you mind having a look over my data to see, if you can spot anything, and, can you help me with, building out this strategy? I said, yeah, of course I can. It's one of the things that we do with members. We're always looking at their spreadsheets, to see what we can spot, another set of eyes. So one of the things that I did, I pulled the data into a sheet like this, okay? And one of the first things that I first spotted was that this score here, the halftime score and the full-time score, didn't seem to match up that often. So I thought, oh, okay, well, why don't I go to Chat GPT and see if it can give me the formula? So I said, I have 2 columns of data in a spreadsheet that is football scores at halftime that looks like this. Then in the column next to it, I have the full-time score. In the same format, I want to have a yes, no to see which scores are different in a different column. What formula would I need? Okay. ChatGPT told me exactly what to do, right? Told me to enter this formula and then drag it down, which is exactly what I did. You can see that here, okay? Then I thought, hang on a minute. I want to know how many yeses and nos there are so I can actually, work out the strike rate and that kind of stuff. So then I did that and it counted out the yes and nos. But then I had another idea, because there was a couple of things that I spotted in this data, and I wanted to know if ChatGPT could also work this out. Looking at these full-time scores, there seems to be like quite a lot of goals in here, okay? But also look at something like the second times of these goals. Okay, even the first time of these goals, these are like quite well into the game. Now, one of the things that I do with my spreadsheets anyway, I always highlight all of my data like this, and then I can see down here, I can play about with the information and I can see the count. One of the other things I can also see is the average quite quickly. Okay, so the average is 28.9 minutes, the first goal. So that got me thinking, hang on a minute. These games look like they've got a lot of goals, and the first goal doesn't come until 28 minutes. There's a lot of like over 2.5 goals in here. That could be a potentially really, really, really good strategy. And also, maybe there's some other angles in this, which is exactly what we preach at Betfair Trading Community. We preach you to track your data so that you can see all of the angles. So in this example, the guy is doing backing a goal in the first half, and he's doing very well with it. But is there another angle that we can use? Because maybe, just maybe, there's actually 2 ways of trading this one strategy, so that he can go into his Betfair Trading Community account, he can find his games for the day, and he can back the first half goal, but he could also maybe even back over 2.5 goals or over 1.5 goals, maximizing his return and reducing his effort, okay? Because you've already got the data there. So then I asked ChatGPT if it could do the calculation for me. So can I give you the raw data? Now, don't worry, guys. What I'm going to do for you, if you stick around all the way to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a word to comment. And if you comment that word, I will send you the ChatGPT prompts that you need, okay, to be able to get this data, to be able to do exactly what I've done, okay? Because I've tested this out a few times now and I've streamlined it. I'm also building a GPT, which is just a fancy way of saying there'll be a GPT that you'll be able to just use and you won't need to use the prompts, but the prompts are there as well. Okay, so can I give you the raw data, and can you work out how many games finished the same score at full time as they did at halftime? So I gave it the data, and off it went. Okay, so I copied all the data in. And then the data has been successfully loaded. We will focus on the halftime and full-time score columns to determine how many it is. Okay, so then it came back to me and said, based on this analysis, 40 games finished with the same score at full-time as they did at halftime. 224 games had different scores. We've got 264 games on this sheet. And now, just by the eye and just looking at this very, very quickly, I've been able to see that looks like a pretty good potential strategy as well, laying the current score at half time. It was one of my favorite strategies to do because you only need one goal. And also you can watch the match as well for the first half, so you can see how the game is ebbing and flowing. Okay, that's ridiculous. So I asked, okay, what was the strike rate of the games that finished the same at full time as they did at halftime? I could have asked it the other way around. It doesn't really matter. The strike rate of the games that finished with the same score at full time as they did at halftime is approximately 15.15%. So that's losing trades. Okay, so that's how many trades you would have lost out of doing all of these potentially if you'd have done them. So I said, so that would mean that the ones that didn't finish the same would be 84.86%. So that would be your strike rate, 84.86%. Yes, that's correct. And then it did the calculation and it told me how to do that. So then I went back in and said, okay, can you tell me the average time of the second goal? And it told me that it was 46.24 minutes. Okay, what's the average time of the first goal? 28.9 minutes. Now, we've already done that on the spreadsheet, but what we didn't do, that Chat GPT did really, really quickly for us, was work out those strike rates of the halftime and the full-time score. Now, if you're following along and you following my train of thought, you know where I'm going to be going, okay? Now, I asked this question: how could you use this data in this sheet to make money betting on the football goal markets? Search for a statistical model you know about and apply the one you think would be best suited in this use case. Currently, the person is backing a goal in the first half market. Can you explore some other angles and share your ideas on what angles would be best? So, off it went. And it looked at the first half goals, the second half goals, both teams to score, overs and unders, and the exact scoreline. It then suggested a statistical model, which was the Poisson regression model. Okay. Now, if you don't understand the Poisson regression model, all you would do at this point is just ask ChatGPT to explain the model to you. Okay. Then it's gone ahead and it's implemented the model, and it also says it's going to use Python stats model. Okay, it did some fancy code here, and then it came back to me. Okay, now I said, because it's doing this for me, can you look at the data and tell me how many of the games finished over 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5 goals, please? Please tell me how many games finished over this number and the strike rate for that, and also the same for the both teams to score. Okay, so what it went ahead and did was work through, it corrected the column names and it worked through the data like this. And then it churned out some pretty incredible things for me. Games with over 1.5 goals was 209, which gave a strike rate of 81.01%. Games with over 2.5 goals, 169 games, 65%. And then games with over 3.5 goals, 118 at 45.74%. And then it told me that the both teams to score was 59.69%. And then it spoke about the betting strategies that you could use here, just talking about the strike rate, that it seemed very promising, over 1.5. And also said, that 1.5 is lower odds. So it knows that. It knows that is a lower odds market. Over 2.5 strike rate is attractive because it has, higher odds usually compared to the 1.5. It also told me about additional angles, and then it gave me some final thoughts. Okay, I also said, can you also tell me any other trends that you spot? Which was really clever, because then it came back and started to throw out to me the average goal times in the first goal, the second goal, the third, and it started to play around with, the second half goal, the last goal, and then started to tell me about the distribution of goals. So how many games had these ones in? told me both teams to score, and then it started to throw out some trends and insights, which is really interesting because it just sort of backs up that that idea that you have. Now it's telling me that there's a high probability of goals in the first half. This is looking at my data, and then I can go and see that actually potentially I could start backing that goal in the first half a little bit later in the first half to get better odds and more value. I could also look to back later in the game to start backing over 2.5 goals. It's pretty impressive. It also told me the average last goal being 73 minutes indicates 3 frequent late goals. This could be useful for in-play strategies, okay? I've then gone back to this and said, when it comes to this data, what odds would I need to be backing the over 1.5 goals and the 2.5 goals to be profitable? I.e., what strike rate do I need and what price would I need to back at for this to be considered value? Okay, so it can even work out your break even, and it tells you the calculation there. So then it came back and told me that the break even odds for the over 1.5 goals was 1.23 based on this data with the strike rate that it's got. And then the strike rate for the over 2.5 goals, the break even odds are 1.53. It then goes into working out the value, okay, to determine value bets, the actual odds offered by a bookmaker should be greater than the break-even odds. If the actual odds are higher, then you're getting good value for your bet. Okay, now assume that a bookmaker offers odds of over 1.5 or 1.3 and 2.5 goals at 1.6. Obviously, it does not know the odds of this yet, but what we can then do is use this as an idea to look at these games and go, hang on a minute, I've spent 3 months collecting all of this data. Now what I can do is have a few ideas around that. And now I'm potentially looking at this going, do you know what? I'd be tracking the price of the over 1.5 goals and the over 2.5 goals because you're already tracking all of this data. Okay, so now you're potentially adding in 2 other strategies to your initial 1 strategy. So you're getting 3 for the price of 1. Okay, now some people might say you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, but the goal is to make money on Betfair, right? Now, if your data is telling you that works, then that is what I believe you should be doing. Okay. So now it's telling you that, the average odds, the offered odds are 1.3, the break-even odds are 1.23. So anything on that is value. Since 1.3 is greater than 1.23, this is a value bet. You are better than the break-even odds. Okay. You will need to track this. Okay. This isn't perfectly correct. And this isn't perfect value because you haven't got the information there. Okay. But now you know what you need to look for. It has told you what the break-even odds need to be. So, for example, if you are going to look at the over 2.5 goals, what I would then suggest with this is to start tracking those prices of the over 1.5 and also the over 2.5. I would potentially myself, this isn't advice and this isn't a strategy or anything like that, I'd be tracking those prices from the start of the match, 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, and 20 minutes in. Because you know the strike rate of these matches, you know what the historical data is telling you. Now, that isn't an indicator for future success, but it's damn near as good as, and it's the best thing that we have got, okay? I would then be looking at trying to be backing over that break-even odds price because then you're getting value there, okay? And then I'd be tracking that on your sheet. You've already got most of the data. It wouldn't be much harder to track that as well. And then when you've got that data, then you can start to put lower stakes on that. And that is how I would be using this and how I would be using Chat GPT. There is a little bit of extra additional that I went into there. I'm not going to cover that now because this video is already 14 minutes long and I don't want to bombard you. But the key takeaways from this video are that this was using Chat GPT 4.0 and it got a lot of the data analysis done very, very quickly. And it saved so much time. And it also spotted a couple of trends that manually you would have done, but in 10 minutes you've got all of that data that you need, and now you've got 2 additional potential trading angles from that one strategy. Now I have updated and spoken to the man who gave me this, the absolute legend who gave me this sheet. He did give me permission to do this video. I know he's probably watching, so thank you very much. And he has started to track a couple of those additional angles. That's just mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing. Data is so key. And I know data collection, like doing this, is a pain in the arse, guys. I really do know that, okay? But now you've got that data, right? Hundreds of records of data. Then you're able to put it into Chat GPT and you are able to test your own strategy and find out how you can make it better. Right? You can ask it things like, what do the winners and what do the losers have in common, which then refines your selection process so that you're only selecting more winners, okay, and you're reducing the losses. What it also does is gives you other angles. Then you can actually compare that and say, hang on a minute, in this example, I was backing the first half goal. Well, what happens if then it told me, in this scenario, over 1.5 and over 2.5 has a decent strike rate. What happens if that was more profitable than backing the over the first goal and the goal in the first half? Well, then that's what you do. Then you are using the same amount of time, but you're making more money. What happens if all three strategies working together was really, really profitable? Well, then you've got three strategies and you're not doing any extra work. So as promised, I promised that I would give you some steps to do this. I am building out the GPT. If you comment the word GPT, right, just comment GPT, I will give you access. I'll give you a Google Doc that has the exact prompts that you need to put into Chat GPT to be able to then do your own data analysis with your own spreadsheets. Okay, if you comment that word below, then that lets me know that you want that, and then I'll send you a link with that in. Thank you very much for watching. If you do have any feedback, or if you do have any data that you would like me to have a look at ChatGPT for you, so for example, if you don't have ChatGPT, you don't pay for it, or you use the free version and it's limited, then also drop a message below, scrap that, send me an email, info@betfairtradingcommunity.com/Ryan. In the subject line, put FAO Ryan, and then tell me, give me your data. But if you send me your data, I will have a look at it and I'll put it into ChatGPT. I would love to create another video on that though as well, to show others the kind of analysis that it can be done. I am going to build that GPT out over the next coming weeks. I'll also let you know about that. One of the things that that's going to be able to do is actually get better with your feedback. So you will actually be able to use it to analyze your own trades, and then you will be able to give it feedback of which it will learn from. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you do not miss that video. Thank you very much for watching this video.